everyone knows, Smack DVD and stuff like that back in the days, but how did Smack URL come to be a union?
Well, I'm saying in the DVD era, like it was going strong for a while, and then the YouTube era came. Once YouTube exploded, you had all these hip hop blogs and websites, so it's kind of hard to keep the original content that we were compiling, sacred or at least private until it actually aired on the DVD, because you would maybe go get Young Jeezy and then you want to get Ludacris for the DVD. But by the time you get the Ludacris interview, it might take you 3 more weeks to get the Young Jeezy interview,
right.
And then everything that you want to discuss with him has already been leaked on the radio or patched up, so it kind of put a damper on the DVD, you know what I mean, because people were getting the information faster.
Right.
So the only content on the DVD that we could control were the battles, because once you have 2 guys and they're in a moment and it's like a fight, so like whatever happens at that moment, it happens. They're not going to recreate it, but I can tell the same story over and over again to every radio station, outlet, or blog. So we decided to start to figure a way to form a league.
Okay.
And that's how URL came out.
Okay. You guys have risen greatly over the years. You pretty much have, I'd say at least from East Coast standards, solidified yourself as the #1 battle league. And I mean, even if you look globally, King of the Dot has a huge international presence, but I still feel as though Smack URL has kind of solidified its spot as the league that everyone else looks up to.
Right.
You guys say follow the innovators, not the imitators.
Yes.
You can't copy, respect. Do you feel as though Smack URL is #1 right now?
Yes, of course. I think that in terms of battles, in terms of impact, I think that URL and the Smack brand have made the greatest impact within battle culture. I mean, if you go back to MC battles and how they were originally done, they were done over music, you know what I mean? But that's since become antiquated.
Right.
And I think that happened when you had Murder Mook and Jay Mills. That was like a monumental battle, because it was like the changing of MC battling as we know it today. I'm not saying that Smack URL invented this form of battling, of the acapella battle, but I feel that we were the first. I know that we were the first people to document it and bring it to the masses and make it popular. And once we did that, you haven't really seen too many battles over music since then. So that was kind of the changing of it. And then other leagues came after us, Fight Club and other ones that had great contributions to battle culture. But I think what makes us strong is that authenticity of us being the original people to actually showcase this type of battling to the masses. So, when you move forward, you know what I'm saying, the guys who are looked at as like the godfathers of this culture, they come from our brand. Murder Mook, T-Rex, Loaded Lux.
Right.
All the original guys, they battled here first. And then, most of them are still here and still around working with us. So I think that's kind of what makes us strong. And I think that we inspired a lot of other people to actually do leagues and make brands and change their format to the Smack URL format. So I can say without a doubt that we're #1. That's just how I feel.
Okay. On the topic of other leagues, since Smack, battle rap just kind of became like I said, an international phenomenon. It was grind time when grind time was around. Then you had King of the Dot pretty much take over from where grind time left off. You had Don't Flop out in like England. You have, what was it, Got Beef out in like Australia. You have Queen of the Ring. You have UW. You have all types of battle leagues. How do you feel about them, in a sense, kind of using your blueprint to incorporate battle rap to adjust to their audiences?
I think it's great. I think it's a great, it's actually flattering in a sense sometimes, because you get to see your mark in hip hop. You know what I mean? Something that you kind of put together, and you see other people in other regions, other countries, other backgrounds and ethnicities adapting your format and using it to entertain people in their area or, their audience. So I think it's actually find it flattering. In terms of like other leagues, I respect other leagues as long as they're doing something original. You know what I mean? What I do like about King of the Dot, well, I never really had an issue with them, is because they'll try to bring some of our guys to battle their guys. You know what I mean? Right. So it's battles that I probably would never book. You know what I mean? But it's just frustrating when you see leagues pop up and they go after a battle that URL would do, and then they try to like surround it with the same type of audience and give it the same type of feel. Then that's not original. And to me, that just goes against everything that hip hop stands for. And I think that we've gotten away from practicing hip hop in mainstream, you know, in the mainstream as well as within the battle culture, because hip hop has always been about being original or coming up with your own shit. Or if you really go back in time, it's like, don't bite. You know what I'm saying? Don't cop my shit. Right, and we've gotten away from that. So biting and copying people's shit has now become the norm. You know what I'm saying? Where before, like, you know, people would get mad at you if you had a beat that sounded anything close to their beat, or you repeated somebody's line. That was looked down upon. But I think that part of the culture has gone away. But, you know, within battle rap, it still exists because sometimes you have people actually, the MCs call out other guys for stealing lines, or they make comparisons to somebody's rhyme scheme that they may have gotten from someplace else. So, you know, that part of it is still intact.
Well, what battle leagues, you could be 100% honest with this, what battle leagues do you feel as though kind of directly copied URL? I
mean, there's a lot of them. You know what I'm saying? It's too many to mention, but you know, they're out there, and if you follow the culture, you know which ones they are. You know what I'm saying? And you know, some of them come, some of them stay around, some of them go away. Yeah. And a lot of that is doing part. See, the thing that people don't realize is you can copy something, but if you're not copying it as good as the original people that are doing it, it's not gonna last. So, like, you know, these leagues, they come and they fly by night, or they just try to jump in and they think that they can spend a whole bunch of money and try to do something, but it still doesn't have that authenticity. It still doesn't have that feel. So, you know,
I feel you on that. Well, what are your thoughts on, let's say, the number 2 spot in terms of battle leagues in the world?
Who do I think is number 2?
Yeah.
See, I could say the name and I could say who I think is number 2, but I don't want people to think like, you know, it's a shot on insult. But if I had to pick a number 2, I would say King of the Dot, only because they're the closest to us in terms of actual views on their channel and subscribers. They've been around a little bit longer than us, but in terms of online visibility in YouTube, URL is by far number 1. We have the most subscribers and we have the most views. Right. King of the Dot is second in having views, and well, actually, to be quite honest with you, I'm sorry, Flip Top.
Yeah,
Flip Top,
the Filipino thing, right?
Is crazy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They got millions and millions of views, but he's talking about guys who are rapping in English, the stuff that, you know, within the United States and Canada and like France and stuff that people watch. You know, guys rapping in English, I would say URL is number 1, and I would say King of the Dot is number 2, and I would say Don't Flop would probably be number 3 in terms of leagues out there right now that are making a true impact, that are doing battles consistently, putting events together all the time. Those would be the leagues that I would say in terms, just, you know, based off of numbers and facts.
What are your thoughts on the presence of Queen of the Ring bringing female battles into the mix?
Man, you know, I left Queen of the Ring out. They're actually up there too. Their impact is very significant. I think what they're doing is important because it's just starting to show that it's actually providing an outlet. You know what I'm saying? Because generally with music, they only let one female artist in at a time. You know what I'm saying? So now there's numerous stars within Queen of the Ring. And it's just opening up the doors, and it's still expanding the culture. It gives a little variety, a little flavor. You know what I'm saying? I actually wish I would have thought of doing Queen of the Ring. You know what I'm saying? But like at this point, you know, I wouldn't try to do an all-female league just because I would feel like I'd be copying. You know what I'm saying? That would bother me. You know what I'm saying? But it is, and all in all, it is battle rap. But I just think that Queen of the Ring does a good job, and they kind of have a hold on it. So if I was to ever go into that lane, I would want to make sure that I could do as good of a job or better. So I wouldn't want to damage what they already have going on, because I think they do a great job, and I think it's dope. And you know, we do female battles every now and then. We actually bring in one to Summer Madness, so you know, we try to support. You know what I mean? And we talk with Queen in the ring often, and they're good friends of ours. So you know what I mean? We wish them the best, and they're doing a great job.
But that's Drake rapping. When he raps, he's one of the best, dog. Like, he says shit I've never heard before.
You don't. Like, I can't go in somebody else's house, and even though they let me wear their clothes and eat their food, that's not my house.